Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, this is like my third time recording this today because my, phone, like, stops in the middle of videos. I don't know why. So, this is video number 3 of 1. So, yay. Okay. So, I've had a lot of interesting things happen this summer. I think the last time I made a video was, like, April, May. I think it might have been May. So I finished my spring semester. Everything went good. It was online. It was challenging because a lot of my exams, I'm used to taking them in Braille. Like, they give me a Word document and I put out my Braille note. I couldn't do that this semester because it's online. So I did it, like, with my scanner with JAWS, and the problem was my, computer, like, JAWS just stopped working, like, halfway through one of my tests. And it was in a typing box. It was one of those, like, essay questions. And I was like, oh boy. So, I try to type as best I can because there's no one around to help me. And I was getting through my eyes, or, like, one of those apps, but, my phone wasn't doing too hot either at that time. So, yeah. But I made it. I emailed the professor and I was like, hey professor, like, here's what happened. Hopefully you can read it. I don't know, because I was trying to type, but I had no feedback, so yeah, good luck. And then I said, email me if you have any questions, and I passed, so that was good. Surprisingly, I made the dean's list this semester, so I didn't expect to do that. Just because, it's online, and it was really challenging, because my family was on quarantine for a couple times, and, I don't have internet at my house, so I had to, like, go somewhere and cram all of my work into a couple hours, a day for the whole week. So, that was fun. But then, the summer happened. That started, like, the middle of May, and that was online, too. So, that was kind of a new thing, because I had one new professor. The class was kind of visual based. It was pediatrics, so we had to do like we had to learn about vision and vision testing, and I was like, crap, because I'm blind, so I don't have any of that, like, visual, like, I get the concept of the word, but I don't have any experience with it. So, like, for example, I'm assuming you're one-sided. When sighted people read, so for some reason I thought it was like Braille, I guess, where, like, you keep one hand, I guess in this case it'd be one eye, like, on the line, and then you go and scan with the other eye, the right eye, like you would with the finger, but obviously that doesn't work that way. So it's weird to me that, like, sighted people can move both eyes at the same time and track objects, and, like, that just seems so overwhelming to me. Like, I don't know how you guys do it. Yeah, so surprise, I'm impressed with sighted people, because that just seems like so much movement, and, like, I would be like sensory overload, like major sensory overload, because there's so much going on, colors, and, like, people are moving, and, like, you're moving, but then the cars are moving too. Like, if you're walking down the street, like, that would just, that seems so much. And, like, reading, for example, because there's, like, so much, like, pictures, and, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's basically similar to, like, what sighted people think about blind people, but that just seems so overwhelming. So I respect sighted people for seeing. But yeah, so I learned that. That was really challenging. I did find a Facebook support group for OTs, students and professionals, and I was like, hey, so I'm blind, and I need help figuring out what this and this means. And they were like, this lady was so awesome. She gave me, like, probably 10 or 12 different resources that I could use to understand the concept of vision, because she said, like, I get you're blind, you don't have any concept, but here's, like, the basics of vision, and good luck, and she was really cool. I have a lot of respect for people who are willing to spend time to give people resources. So I did that. That was fun. one of the more challenging aspects of that class, which I'm still in the class because classes don't end until next week, was that we had to do this observation thing, and we had to watch a video and observe a client. The problem was that it's a video. I'm not there, like, in the environment, so I don't know, like, you know, I can't be like, oh, it's a hard floor, and the room is large and empty because it's echoey, and the acoustics is, like, horrible, and, you know, I don't have any of that because it's a video. So I emailed the professor, and I actually called her, and I was like, hey, so, what do I do, because, this was a new professor, and I was like, I can't see, and I can try my best to observe, but it's not going to be as well done as it would be if I were at the actual environment, because I'm not there, and it's video, and it's online, so we all know how video recording kind of distorts sound, a little bit. So she said, well, just try it, I'll let you know what I think. So I tried, and she never really said, like, anything, so I assume it was good. But yeah, that was definitely a challenge, because, you know, I knew the concept, but I didn't understand the visual concept, so I just know the definition of the word. But I don't know how to teach someone how to put it into practice, because, like, I don't have that. So the idea of being able to move both eyes when you read, or track objects with your eyes, like, that's really cool. Because, you know, I have no control over my eyes. I have nystagmus, so basically they constantly jerk, move. Some people do call my left eye a lazy eye because it kind of tilts a little bit. But, you know, I just don't have that, so it's hard to relate to sighted people when they talk about vision. But anyway, so this is going to be really long, I apologize. So I did that class, and and a couple other ones that are basically like our final classes. We have fieldwork in the fall, and that's it. So yay. But seriously, so like, in June, Beak and I had our 1 year. I got her some bones. I found this one bone. It's called a nylobone axis, I think is what they call it. And it's like, so imagine a printed X, which is like a cross, but with the cross kind of turned a little bit, and the bottom of it is the same length as the top and side. So it's all the same length, and the cross is kind of turned slightly. So imagine that, but it's a bone. And so, like, you've got basically 4 bones in one, because you got the ends of the bone. Beacon went nuts for them. She loves them. I was able to find 2. One on Chewy and one on at PetSmart. And she got some bones. She got some milk bones, like some miniature ones, because they're only like $5 a piece. She was spoiled. I was able to find her a travel bag that I'm taking with me to field work. I just found that like 2 days ago. So that'll be cool, because she has a lot of stuff, and I don't have a lot of room, so I have to carry, I found a specific bag for her that's going to go with all of her stuff, and it'll be nice, because I can carry a lot of food in there, so yay. I was able to get a wishbone nylobone. It's like, basically, it's shaped like a wishbone, which, to me, it honestly feels like somebody took, so you know how they make those, like, rabbit ears for, like, little kids, you know, like little bunny ears that they put on, like, headbands. So imagine that, but, like horn-shaped, like an antler, like from a deer. And they're just sitting on the person's head like bunny ears would be. That's kind of the concept of what this wishbone feels like. So basically imagine like a giant U, or for blind people, just keep the image of like deer antlers, or basically like a giant hook that's connected. So there's like 2 ends, and then in the middle there's like a giant little loop thingy, but it's not completely closed. So it's like a circle, but it's open on the top. So it's hard to explain because I can't show anyone because it's video. But it's really cool. She loves it. I love it because it's very small. So yeah, she was spoiled a lot. So we did that. We had her 1 year, and I was gonna video it, but then my phone decided to break like the day before. So I had to get a new phone. So I'm recording on an iPhone 7 now, which I like, but I also don't like because I have to get an earphone jack adapter thingy. Because with the iPhone 7, the charging port is also the headphone jack. So you have to get like this little thing that goes into the charger so you can have an adapter for your headphones. Because I don't like using Bluetooth or like wireless headphones. I use regular normal headphones so I can connect with my laptop. Because I use a lot of audio, so. But yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, it was challenging, spring semester, summer semester. We're almost done. We've got like a week left. And I went to campus this week. It's Friday, so I'm still in this week, but I'm done with campus so far. I went and walked into the classroom on Tuesday because we were doing some hands-on stuff like goniometers, pinch and grip strength, which unfortunately we didn't have time enough to consider getting a speech adapted, pinch and grip strength machine, which I'm not going to say because I'll butcher the name. But basically, it's a machine that you squeeze/pinch depending on what type of machine you're using, and there's a little needle that goes around and it measures the force of the pinch/grip. So I was able to use Be My Eyes, which is like a video app that you can get on your iPhone or Android, and you just basically FaceTime with a stranger is what I always call it. So as a blind person you call, and anyone in the world who signs up for the service that's sighted will respond, and they set their time zone and everything, and they make sure it's with your language, so you put in there what language you speak and are, I was going to say literate in whatever language you can speak. My mind today. So you put that in there and they match you up with, like, if I'm calling and I need assistance with something and you're a sighted person, you speak English and you're in my time zone, they'll be like, okay, cool. So like, I can call it like 2 in the morning and someone from a different time zone but who speaks English will answer. It's all volunteers, which I love. And so I was using this app and I was like, hey, so I have this machine here and I need it read. Tell me where the needle is. And so they could explain it to me. It was great because I could have access to it. So we figured it wasn't violating HIPAA because there was no patient, it was students, and also it's a machine. It's not displaying any kind of patient information, none of that stuff. So it's not HIPAA breaking. Sorry, HIPAA violating, whatever. It's Friday. So yeah. But then for my goniometer, the previous one we used like a giant goniometer for like the hip and the shoulder and stuff, and we made notches in it with an X-Acto knife. Well, the finger one, which is like probably the size of, so if you take an iPhone 7 and you put it on its side to where it's landscape mode, the width of the 7 or 6, because the 6 is about the same width. The width of the 7th or 6th screen is about as long as this goniometer. So it's very small. So a friend of mine who I'm staying with her and another friend, she said, okay, let me just see, because I didn't have one. I had to get my own stuff, so I didn't have a finger one. So she gave me hers, and she made little notches in it. She just sat there with her scissors and just cut little notches every 10 degrees, and that worked. So she said, you can keep it, and I was like, cool, but I'm going to get you a new one because I kind of broke your goniometer. Which technically it's not really broken because sighted people can still use it, but it's adapted, so she let me keep it, so I found her a new one. But anyway, so I mean, literally, like, accessibility takes nothing. It's literally, it's not that hard, depending on what you're doing. You know, little simple things that we're like, oh, we need this, let's do it real quick. It literally only took like 10 minutes. So if you're in the field of OT/healthcare, like, calm down. Disability's not that big of a deal. You can figure it out. Which kind of brings me to my next point of the health field and why I'm kind of the whole point of why I'm making this video. I tried to make it yesterday and I just got really upset, so I couldn't, because it turned into like a rant, and I was like, no. So, okay. So I don't want to break any kind of like confidentiality things, but I've had some issues with the health field lately because I'm applying for my field work, and you know, at this point I really don't care who finds out because it's the truth and people need to know about it. I was gonna wait till after my field work to post this, but at this point I really don't care because I'm fed up with some stuff that's happening, and so here it is. Plus I don't think I've got a lot of viewers, so, you know, there's that too. But yeah, so I'm applying, well, okay, so I'm going into field work, like, in the fall, right, and the summer, and this past spring. So this past spring was canceled because of the coronavirus, so to make that spring one up, we worked on a really cool platform called SimiCase, which is like a simulated healthcare experience. So, you have a virtual patient, and you basically go in and, like, treat them, and you write notes, and it's really cool. The only downfall is that it's not completely accessible, but we are working on that. The company has been great. Like, shout out to SimiCase, they're awesome. I've been working with one of the people that's in charge of it, like, I don't know, I guess, like, a manager person, and they've been great, like, because they're trying to make it accessible. I don't think a lot of healthcare companies really realize that, like, blind people are in the healthcare system as practitioners, not as patients primarily, so, like, we're here to make it accessible. So, you know, so that was really fun because I got to do that this summer. I got to help them try to make it more accessible. And one of the things I mentioned was, like, because it's virtual, so it's videos, and sometimes there's so much stuff going on in the video that I can't follow. So, like, and the questions will be something like, what kind of grasp is the client holding the pencil? Or are they sitting down during such and such activity? And sometimes, you know, you can tell in the video, but sometimes you can't because it's visual. So I explained to them about, like, the description and how it would work, and I said, you know, please, like, include this because it's necessary, because there's going to be more and more blind people / people with disabilities in the healthcare workforce, so please make it accessible. And this was really stressful to me because we had 6 of them to do. I literally only had 2 weeks to do them, this week and next week, and luckily I was able to do them this week. I did 5 in 3 days. It was challenging, but I did it, so yay. I had some people that helped me, some sighted people. They kind of described, like, either just by demonstrating on me, like, physically, like, moving my arm, or they would do it, like, by explaining it, with, you know, speaking to me and explaining it, and so, you know, like, it's easy, you know, I mean, yes, it's challenging, but, I mean, the company's willing to work on it, so I respect SimiCase a lot. Like, it's not free, you do have to pay for it. Luckily my university paid for it, so that's how I got access to it. But if anyone is, like, going to the health field, and they are really upset because the healthcare field is not the most accessible, which is totally ironic, because, you know, it's the healthcare field, and you're looking for a positive example, like, SimiCase is totally the one, because they are, like, chill, you know, they're like, okay, we didn't know, we apologize, let's fix it. And I'm like, thank you, it's so nice to get that person. So I'm glad SimiCase is amazing. You guys should like go and be like, you guys are cool, you're accessible, or you're trying to be accessible. I have a lot of respect for companies that do that because I've been dealing with, inaccessible companies my whole life. So it's nice that I just said, hey company, your product's not working, and they responded like super quickly. And we did a Zoom call where we kind of like, I used my phone to Zoom call them, and then I showed them my screen, and then they could also hear my audio from my computer. So they could kind of hear / see what I was seeing without, screen sharing on my computer, because they wouldn't get the benefit of having a screen reader. So yeah, so this was like a long video, I apologize. But, so all that kind of goes down to, so my summer one is not happening yet. I'm supposed to go to a skilled nursing facility, and because of COVID, everything's shut down, so I have to wait. In the fall, I can't say where I'm going, well, mainly because I don't know, and also because of confidentiality. But it is a specialty setting, and honestly, like, I'm excited because, I really want to go to this specialty setting, but I'm also a little upset because it's disability related, and, like, they were the only ones that were pretty much willing to accept me as a blind person, and, I'm grateful that they did, but I'm also kind of upset that other places said no to me because I'm blind, and I was very upset because, a lot of people said that the reason they didn't accept me was because they couldn't guarantee that I would have accommodations. So, like, I need a slower, pace sometimes to, like, learn things. I need time to learn the setting, learn the routes, plus I have a dog. But, I'm like, I guess I'm upset because they assumed before they even knew me that I couldn't handle certain situations. A lot of them were like hospitals or nursing facilities, and honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't cry that much, but I did when I found that out, because I was just like, everything kind of hit me at once, and I was like, this is gonna be my job one day, and I have to deal with the health professions field, their discrimination, and honestly, like, I know not everyone's like that, but there are a lot of people in the health field that are, and, it's a hard thing to deal with, because, like, I want to help people, I want to go into this field to, like, make a difference, and, how can I, as a person with a disability, help people that do have disabilities whenever the health field is discriminating against me as a blind person? So, I'm not gonna point fingers at anyone, because they all kind of, the people that I'm not gonna say, they all kind of played a big role in telling me no. And I'm sorry, this is really hard to, like, talk about without giving any names or anything. I might record another video, like, in the spring once this is all over, so I can talk about it in more details. Because, like, I'm just gonna start my field work. I don't want to screw it up and, make a scene or get anyone in trouble or anything. So I'm just gonna wait till after this is all over to explain, I guess, the true story of what happened. But basically, the point of the story is that people in the health field are discriminatory, and I was limited on my choices of field work due to that fact. And, like, I'm a very positive person. I don't often see the negative of people, but recently, which I don't know if I've talked about it a lot, but I'm mixed race, so my mom's white, my dad's black, and my town is mostly white. We do have a lot of older residents in my town, and some of them are prejudiced. So dealing with that, with all the George Floyd protests and everything that's been going on, plus, finding out that my dream job is not what I thought it would be, I wouldn't be given the same opportunity as my sighted peers. I was, not in a good place. It gets tiring after a long time just to keep going and keep fighting for your rights, because, what's the point, I mean, if no one's gonna listen, what's the point? So, it's hard, for me to try to encourage people that are blind or have any disability, really, to tell them that they should come join the health professions, knowing that they have these challenges, because, I know for me, I'm only 20, and this whole journey of school as a blind person / college, and particularly in the health field, there's been a lot of really cool parts, but the majority of it has been really stressful. And I know that the health profession is not the easiest field to get into anyway, but add on top of that the challenge of, I guess the pressure of feeling like you have to succeed because everyone expects you to. Because, I try not to care what people think about me, but I know in reality they're watching me, and they're either they're thinking, oh, cool, she's blind, she's doing this, or they're well, she can't do that, she's blind. So part of me is well, duh, I can do it, just because I'm blind doesn't mean anything. So, I feel like I have to prove to them that I can do it. But then in reality, I also know that I'm never going to prove to some people, because they're always going to have their opinions. So, it's hard, balancing that with my life, and, trusting in myself as a health practitioner, because, that's the one thing, too. I had to learn this semester to, if I don't believe in myself, I have to at least pretend, because I'm with my clients. I'm never going to lie to my clients. I don't believe that's the best thing to do. So, if a client asked me, seriously, if they were going blind or something, and they said, hey, is it hard? Or, how do you keep going? And, sometimes you can't always say, oh, it's easy, because it's not. And, that's with anything, not even just blindness, but with, life in general. But it's more, obvious, the struggles, I guess, that with, depression or with just self-confidence. It's harder in the health field to, I guess, to show those emotions, and show that stress, because, the health profession holds a lot of power over clients and patients. And, the health field is known as the experts of, everything. So, everyone's I gotta do what the doctor said, because the doctor's always right. And that's just a lot of pressure on healthcare workers / students. And, if you fail, in the health professions field, if you, have to drop out of a program or something like that, the world's going to judge you a lot harder, because they're going to say, oh, you don't have what it takes to do this. And, I don't know, that's not true. People are great. You don't have to be a doctor to be successful. But America, and mostly the world, looks at health professions as, the highest power. We're right up there with lawyers and judges and all that, and that's hard, And, as a blind person, I'm almost to the point where I want to post on some Facebook groups and be like, hey, is there anyone in this group who has a disability who could talk to me, because I have mentors, but I don't know anyone in the health field who is blind, that I could, like, talk to, because, I mean, I found a couple, but they're not from America, and so just, like, finding that person and being like, hey, so you don't know me, but, you know, just having that relationship. I'm sorry, this turned into, like, a really long rant, I apologize, but basically, the whole point of this was to say that, even though the health field is the experts of, like, all things medical, like, not everyone has been there. Like, you know, the health field, there's hardly any blind people, so they shouldn't get the choice, I guess, to decide that blind people are not capable enough to survive in the health professions. Like, if your goal in your profession is to take on fieldwork students, you should at least have the open mind enough to be like, okay, this is going to be challenging, but I want this. Like, that's what OT is for, is to adapt things, to make things accessible. So I was more upset that the OT field was doing that. I'm not going to say anything about the fieldwork places, because it wasn't all them. There was some other factors that played a role. But, you know, I was just, like, really upset, because that doesn't give me a lot of hope for the future of finding a job. You know, because if my fieldwork people can do this, like, my job's gonna be a heartbeat. And, you know, just like this situation, there's ways around it. There's ways around discrimination. You can say, oh, well, no, they just didn't have the qualities I was looking for. Or, you know, and we as people with disabilities, we can't prove that they were discriminating against us, like, unless we have written proof that they said, because of your disability, I was not able to hire you, you know. And even then, like, you gotta have a lot of proof to actually get a lawsuit or anything. I apologize, I can't talk deeply about this. I'm kind of going through a lot of personal things anyway, plus, you know, confidentiality. But once I graduate, I will make a video in, like, a couple, well, I guess 6 to 8 months about this. Because, you know, like, the world is becoming more advanced with technology, and because of that, more people are able to join the workforce, like people with disabilities. You know, we're able to use technology to our advantage and work in different fields, but also technology is really crappy sometimes, because it's like, they don't make it accessible, you know, so it's kind of like a good slash bad. But the world's getting more advanced, and people are joining more work, and, like, I don't think socially the world is ready for that. Because, you know, there's always going to be those people that see, it doesn't matter, like, something, like, you could be, well, I mean, this still happens with women, or people from other countries that are not American, or, you know, if you're black, or mixed race, or whatever, like, there's always going to be something that the world thinks is crappy about you, or they don't really approve of, and sometimes, I mean, there's really no way to get around it, but I think it's time that all of us, no matter what race, whatever your discriminating factor is, like, we need to just band together and be like, no, like, this needs to stop. I don't know how or what we need to do to make it stop, but this whole, like, discrimination has just been getting to me a lot lately, particularly with my situation, but also with the George Floyd /protests, which I can make another video about that if you guys want, about my opinions. But, you know, it's time for this world to be like all the people that are discriminated against, either for their job or for their like if they make minimum wage, like the world looks down upon that, that's a discriminating factor, their job. Like the world needs to be woken up, and America particularly, and they need to be told, like, hey, like, see us. We're important too, not just the normal white American person, which white privilege and sided privilege are real things. For those of you that don't agree, like, that's fine, but privilege, either white or sided, is real. And I think if you have those things, if you are sided, if you're white, and you have whatever, decent job, and basically if you don't have really a lot of discrimination in your life to complain about, like, it's okay to put your opinion, but don't get upset whenever people that are discriminated against every day, that see the discrimination, call you out because you're not on their side, So yeah, I don't know what we can do as a nation to, like, wake up the country, but I know I've certainly had enough of this discrimination. Yeah. So, I don't know what to do. I don't think violence is the answer. I don't think, going and breaking down statues is the right answer. But I do understand, because enough's enough, and it gets old and tiring, and, it's a lot of pressure that the world expects. Because they're stereotypes. They expect people to be certain ways, and if you're not, the world gets upset. Yeah. So, I don't think violence is the answer to this protest thing, but in their defense, no one's gonna listen unless you make a lot of noise. So yeah, this is, like, super long, I apologize, but that's basically my point. It's time to do something, because, like, this world is gonna keep getting worse and worse if people don't start listening. And as far as me and this healthcare stuff, like for instance, well, I'll talk about it in another video, but there was a story that kind of illustrates the point of the healthcare system being discriminatory with patients. Like, for example, the ventilators during the COVID, they were trying to decide, like, basically as a person to person. So they were trying to figure out if the world had a shortage of ventilators, who would get them? And how do they determine who was the most important person to get them? And it kind of I kind of felt like we were back in eugenics, which is still a thing, despite what people think. That's a perfect example, because, like, they were like, well, this person has this disability, so they don't need one because they're not going to be a valuable member of society. And it's like, come on, guys, like, you're the healthcare facility. You're supposed to make things accessible. You're supposed to appreciate the value of a human life. And the idea that the healthcare system is, like, deciding that they're trying to play God. They're trying to decide who is valued and who is not. And that just makes me, like, cringe, and makes me kind of start to wonder if I made a mistake going into the healthcare field, because I don't want to be in a field that is known for discriminating against people. Like, what kind of example would that be? Would my life be if I were like, yeah, this person's life is not worth anything, Like, I'm not like that. I think a human's a human. It doesn't matter what their sexual orientation, whatever, like, none of that matters, because they're person, they're people. And, I'm a Christian. I don't believe that gay marriage is correct. But I'm not the judge. It's not my right to judge. I will still hang out with you. I don't agree with what you're doing, but, it's not my place. I'll tell you, like, I'll be open. I'll be like, I don't believe that gay marriage is appropriate, and here's why. But I respect you as a person, and all I'm asking of the healthcare field is to respect me as a person, and understand that just because I'm blind, like, there's more to my life than that. I'm capable of, like, well, they'll never know because they never gave me the chance. So yeah, so that's where I've been these past couple of months. It's not been easy. I've been really stressed. I have cried a little bit, and normally it kind of, like, I'll cry about the stupidest things. It just kind of builds up until I'm crying about something because someone said this to me, and I'm like, no, I'm really not annoyed with you because you said that. I'm just annoyed because everything else, and it just, I'm not the best at expressing my emotions, I guess, through speaking or facial expressions, I guess. That's what I've been told. So, you know, I think my dog has felt my stress. She is laying beside me. You know, I mean, the whole quarantine's not helped any, because you're basically self-isolating yourselves. So, you know, you can't be like, hey, people, like, here's my life, you know. And, you know, like, it's just hard. And for any of you out there who are considering healthcare, like, this totally isn't one of those videos to, like, make you, regret your choice. Because, I mean, there's a lot of people, there's always people that are good in the healthcare or in any setting. There's people that are great. But, you know, we have to think about the reality. If you're going into the healthcare setting, if you're going in any kind of, any job, any disability, any discrimination factor that you have against you, you know, we've got to think about how we're going to react to situations like this whenever it's obvious that they're discriminating against you, but there's nothing you can do about it because you have no proof. And, you know, I'll talk about, because there was something else that happened too, but I'll talk about that later once I graduate from the program and I have the freedom to say what I can because I'll be done with school and, you know, I won't have to be confidential. It's nothing big, nothing huge, it's just I don't want to say some things that might get back to certain people. So yeah, but, you know, like I said, this isn't to make you, this isn't like a lash out against the entire healthcare fields. This is just like, no pun intended here, but like an eye-opener to the students slash healthcare workers to, just because you may know a lot of blind people or a lot of people with disabilities, like, we're not all equal, we're different. And, you know, you have the textbook definition of people, you're like, well, blind people, you read the textbook, you know, they struggle with this, this, and this, and so therefore they couldn't do this because they can't see it. So I'm asking you as a patient slash future healthcare worker to don't ever assume that because the textbook says this that it's correct. Or because your boss says this, it's correct. Because we're different people. And, I mean, I have a lot of blind friends that we have different strengths, different weaknesses, you know. Like, I might be good at something, and they might not be. And then I might suck at something, like, horribly. And they're like, yeah, that's easy. And I'm like, how? You know, we're all people. So don't just assume that because we have some discriminating factor against us that we are not capable of doing something that seems like we need that factor for. So yeah, this is like super long, but that's basically my point. So, hope this helped. I just, it's been like 3 months and everything's kind of been building up, so I had to get this out into the world, I guess. So yeah, it's been a fun 3 months. That's basically all that's new with me. I will tell you the rest of the story later, like in January. But to give another example of like the health field, so I took my practice test yesterday for the national boards, and it was not accessible. There was pictures. Oh, sorry, that's improper. There were pictures of I don't know what, because they weren't described. And it's ironic because, like, the profession of OT is supposed to be accessible, making things accessible, and I was like, are you kidding me? This isn't even accessible, like, I can't even do this. So I wrote to them, and that's a continuing saga because I haven't got a response yet, but it kind of makes me upset, you know, because I'm like, I'm paying for this stuff, and I can't even access it, and I'm in the health field profession because I thought that it would be more accessible, and it's not. And yes, I am a little angry because I'm paying for it, and I'm expected to reach a certain level of professionalism, and I'm being, basically I won't be able to do that because it's not accessible. And you know, I don't know if maybe they just didn't know it or whatever, but they know it, so now they gotta fix it. And bless you, sorry beacon sneezing. So hopefully they fix it. I don't know. I'll let you guys know, because I don't know, it's just a lot, you know. But yeah, so I apologize for those of you that thought this was gonna be a good positive video. I just get tired of fighting sometimes, and I have to rant to people. And sometimes I think YouTube is the best place to do it because, you know, you can reach a lot of people, and I'm not saying that, like, I'm this amazing person who wants to reach people, because, I mean, I don't know, I'm just me, but I have a feeling that I'm not the only person who has these feelings, not even just as a blind person, but, like, as a person of mixed race, excuse me, a person of mixed race. So, you know, here I am, here's my story. I don't do a lot of Facebook posting. I would probably never post this stuff on Facebook just because I have so many comments that I wouldn't be able to respond. So if you want to respond on YouTube, feel free. I'll probably respond to that faster than Facebook. But yeah, so this is my story of OTA, but basically OT discrimination in the health field. So hope you guys liked it. Hope you could hear me too. I'm kind of in a loud place, so I apologize. I don't really have the loudest voice, so yeah. But hope you all enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you soon, not like 3 months from now. So yeah. Okay. Bye guys.